Alright, so today we're going to be working on my 2003 Jeep TJ. If you somehow found this video looking for an issue with your TJ, I'm not going to be able to help you because my TJ is completely different than everybody else's. However, if you're looking for help with your MotorCraft 2100 carburetor, or something going on with your 258 inline 6, or if you're crazy enough that you eliminated the fuel injection off of your 4.0 and you're running a carburetor, I might be able to help you there. But as far as y'all just regular old TJ folks, probably not going to be too helpful. Anyway, I'll show you this issue I got and bring you up to speed on the setup. Okay, so my TJ was a factory 2.4 liter PowerTech PT Cruiser motor with a 42 LRE automatic transmission. Had the Rubicon 4-to-1 low transfer case and 456 gears and axles. 2003 model. Very rare. The first 600 of them made had a special computer. You couldn't get a computer for them. Ended up having to rebuild a motor. Good luck finding a decent motor. Mine was unrebuildable. So this is what I did. That's a whole other story. This is a 4.0 out of a 2001 Cherokee Sport with a AW4 automatic transmission behind it and an MP231 regular 2-to-1 low. I had my other transfer case, but when I was putting it all together, man, it just needed to be better off. Anyway, really at the time I didn't have the knowledge about getting the fuel injection working. Now I could probably do it, but I've just been driving it for the past 2 years because this works. So what I have here is an adapter plate sold by a guy called Grunk Performance on eBay, or was sold at one point, to use your double horseshoe intake manifold, your 99 and up 4.0 intake manifold with a carburetor. And he gave you little plugs for the intake manifold where the injectors go. But as you can see here, those plugs have worked really well. No vacuum leaks for like a year. And then this winter, after it started getting cold, I shut it down and had a little bit of a diesel action going. And it blew all of them out by one. So then my fix to that is I just took some injectors and shoved in the holes, and it's been working for the last couple of months, and I'll put a couple thousand miles on it. But we're going to braze those holes up, but that's going to be another video. Actually, we may or may not do that. Anyway, what this video is about. I got about a 60-mile round trip commute to work. Day before yesterday, drove this Jeep to work, no issues. Drove it home from work. The throttle kind of hummed when I stopped at the stop sign. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But then no issues for about another 15 miles. Drove it home, parked it in the driveway, went and worked on something else for a little while. Come back out, fired it up, let it warm up a minute. Was going to go over into town and get me some pizzas. And when I come back, or when I got out on the road, thing didn't have no power, the throttle was feeling funky, wouldn't open up. Looked at it real quick in the pizza place's parking lot, and I was like, well, something's up with the throttle shaft because it didn't open. And brought it back and limped it back here to the house. I only live about 2 miles from the pizza place, flat ground. Limped it back to the house and parked it. So now we're going to look at it. This carburetor is a cheap Chinese MotorCraft 2100. I have used it for 2 years with absolutely no issues at all. And I don't know what in the world happened to it, so we're going to take a look and see. But as you can see right here, if I try to open the throttle, and yes, I know my throttle cable isn't the best. If I try to open the throttle, I can get it to about right there, and it stops. Nothing. You can hear the accelerator pump working. When it's in park and just sitting here, you can rev it up 3,000 RPMs. but you know, there's no load on the engine, so you don't have to open the throttle shaft for it. As I can see, there's nothing in here with the accelerator pump linkage or the kickdown linkage that's binding anywhere. And same to go on the other side. The choke releases as it's supposed to. Nothing pressing against the bottom of the throttle shaft on this side. Should be no problem. So I guess we're going to pull this carburetor off here and see if we can figure out what in the world happened to it. I know that MotorCraft 2100s do have some issues that when they have throttle shaft problems, you get vacuum leaks and this, that, and the other, and you're better off just getting you a new carb. So we'll go ahead and pull this air cleaner off of here, and we'll start pulling the carburetor off. Yeah, I know my air cleaner's dirty as heck. It's a piece of junk, alright? It's all good. Ooh. Yes. Actually that's not. I seafoamed this thing the other day. Oh, the day before I had a problem, I did dump a whole can of seafoam down his throat and heat soak it, so that might have caused me an issue. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh! Alright then. I'm gonna have to get the camera over here so y'all can see that. I figured out why the throttle plates won't open. Alright. So as you guys just saw, I just popped the air cleaner off and looked down the hole. And I'll open this choke plate up and y'all can see if you can spot what I spotted. The center of the Venturi has fallen down onto the throttle plates. And I'd be willing to bet if I hold this open and hold y'all right there and get you to focus. Yeah, that's why it won't open. Huh. Well, I guess we're going to pull the carburetor off and see what little screw or whatnot got fed through the intake. We might have some troubles here that wasn't expecting. So, alright, I'll set y'all over here and we'll start pulling this carb off. There, but the small engine stopper that I used on the cable, that little clamp, I don't know what in the world I did, but I ain't got the right Allen screw for it, so I gotta run up to the parts store and buy a cheap thing of metric Allen wrenches, and then I'm gonna see if I can get another 1/4-inch gasket too, because that one, I'm not reusing the gasket. That's just gonna cause me problems. So we'll get off there and see if we can get that part out of it. Alright, so $16 at Napa gets you a real fancy smanchy set of Allen wrenches. Looks like all the sizes are there. Hopefully the one that fits this shit is. And a couple bucks also get you a 1/4 inch thick MotorCraft 2100 Ford gasket. It's kind of strange, they have it, or at least this one, it's labeled for a industrial Ford motor. 79 through 91 Ford TK 370 V8. So I'm guessing that's one of those commercial motors that Ford had. But anyway, there's your gasket. We're gonna need that. Here's some Allen wrenches that we're gonna need. Wow, freaking spent that much money and these things are all floppy and dinky. They could have got something better, Harbor Freight. Alright, I want to say it's a 2 millimeter. It is very integral. I'm going to put it over here in the top of the toolbox. Alright, we'll slide our carbonator off there. There we are, dumping gas everywhere. Alright, so let's see if we can get this Venturi piece up out of there. And see why it happened to come off. It's real strange. Alright, I forgot I was supposed to be filming this, so this is what we've got. Here's what was blocking the throttle plates that had fallen down in the throat of the carburetor. I believe that's press fit together. So I don't know what all happened. But there's the assembly as it comes up like that. Right there, I already got the screw out of it. There's our screw. That the meter there, and then so yeah, she broke off. Well, actually, I think I did that. I think originally the centerpiece just fell out, and then I think messing with it, trying to pop it out of there without taking the carburetor apart, I broke this. But either way, the good news about this right here is that in this Jeep over here that we put the fuel tank on there a couple weeks ago, that carburetor is absolutely trashed. So luckily today the new carburetor came in, and I was gonna put that carburetor on this Jeep, but now what I believe I can do, we're gonna tear this carburetor off of here, pull the parts out of it, fix this carburetor, and put this carburetor on the CJ5 because it does not get driven as much and reliability is not quite as keen. And then we'll put the brand new Chinese El Cheapo on the TJ. Maybe. Actually, no, we won't. Nope. Scratch all that. We're just gonna put this, we're gonna take parts out of this one, fix this one, and put it back on the vehicle it came from. Mostly due to the fact that you gotta drill a hole in the throttle thingy, and that other carburetor has a warranty for like 90 days, so we'll just stick it on this one. Alright, anyway, so I'm gonna get to ripping this other carb off over here, and we'll rob some parts out of it. Alright, I want to show you this since I didn't show it on the other one. Should come apart about the same. So you start, and the screw here, Well, and actually on Audi, there's no real need to do that because it doesn't really help you. So, oh yeah, I've had this one apart before, and obviously I He-Man the screws together. Sorry about the road noise. This building is like 12 feet off of the road, and everybody around here has either got to drive a fucking holler bomb, or they gotta have the loudest exhaust to compensate for the littlest reproductive organs. They don't even sound good. That's the bad thing. You know, you want to have something out there that actually builds some power and sounds half decent. You put a little bit of time into it. It sounds good. You've got the power to back it up. That's one thing. You're just cutting it off at the catalytic converter and rolling around, making the stock 200 horsepower and irritating the heck out of me at 1 o'clock in the morning when you drive by the house. That's a different story. And you can make a stock motor sound good too. So basically you just take all the screws out to hold the top part of the carburetor down. And then you can just bend this around out of the way. It actually is easier on the linkage if you do this like I did on the other one. It'll probably never get used. This will be nothing but for parts in the future. I can't get the screw loose, so anyway. I got to go, it didn't been too bad. Alright, now I gotta go to flathead. And we're gonna take out a part right there. Take the Venturi out. I'll turn you around so that you can see a little bit too. Okay. To remove that Venturi assembly, you just take this big screw out right here, big brass screw. That's hollow. There you go. And there's a washer right here, you don't want to lose that. There. And these should just pop right up out here. Just like so. There is a gasket underneath here. I do have a gasket kit over there. And I'll see if I got a new gasket for that. And we'll go drop it in the other one. So that's how you take that apart and remove that portion of a MotorCraft 2100. Alright, got our new gasket on down there. Everything's seated properly. I just dropped that washer. No, I didn't. There it is. Alright, so we seat this down in here. Alright, here's our screw. There's a little rod that goes down it that this screw is hollow, and I just plucked that washer right out of there. Alright, that screw is hollow. There's a rod that comes up through this assembly. You're going to put everything down in here, line that rod up into the hole. It's not that hard. Put that down, take the screw. You're going to line that rod up into the center of the screw. Knock that washer down in there again. Man, I don't do no good with this camera on. I'd actually assembled this thing, was about to put the screws in it, and I was like, oh, well, I better show it. Alright, washer on. There we go. Gasket in place. Gaskets in place. Drop everything down on there. Seat it. Oh, now the rod's not wanting to line up. Then once you get that lined up, you just take your flathead screwdriver, wherever it run off to, and tighten it down. Right, not too tight, just right. All right. All right, got the new gasket thread down on there. We're gonna go ahead and drop the carb on, and we'll fire this mother up and see if we fixed it or if we broke it. Alright, there it is, minus the throttle cable still to be installed. I'll throw the air cleaner on, then we'll fire it up here. Alright, we're going to fire it up, see what she does. I'm gonna hook the throttle cable back up and take it for a run. The only reason it's running funky like that is it's cold. So, and I need to turn the idle up on a little bit, and it doesn't help the choke not pulling off or anything too with that electric fan running all the time in the winter time. I gotta put that thing on the switch. But anyway, that's kind of the weirdest thing I've ever had happen to a MotorCraft 2100 or 2150. Thank you guys for watching, and y'all have a good